Good evening, welcome to my balcony. So, a few days ago, I watched Spider-Man No Way Home. Hopefully it's been enough time for everybody who's watching this video to have also seen it, because I will be talking about everything in this movie. Not really everything, but like the story plot points, because I cannot talk about this movie without the things that make it this movie. So, spoiler warning, I literally cannot make this any clearer. If you are still watching right now and you haven't seen the movie, you must not care about the movie's plot that much, which is fine, but you know, a movie is still worth seeing because it's more than just its plot points, it's also how those plot points are executed, which is very important. I'm gonna start talking about the biggest spoiler of all, of course. Alright. Now, Spider-Man No Way Home. It has not one, I don't know if you can see it, not two, but three different Spidey dudes. You know, our good friends. Who doesn't love them? Who doesn't love all three together? But I mean, like, come on. Spider-Man is a character that means a lot of things to a lot of people. Me included. The Spider-Man 2002 was literally... I'm gonna take these off in case the wind blows them off. It's kind of a windy day. But you know, they're gonna be chilling in my pocket. They'll always be in my heart. But Spider-Man 2002, literally the first movie I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I remember being 3 years old, and my parents took me to the cinema, and one of my earliest memories is Willem Dafoe.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
It's a pretty good early memory. That man is a crazy good actor. I cannot believe the stuff he was able to pull off with just his facial expression. That apartment scene when Peter Spider-Sense is going all crazy and stuff, I love that scene too, by the way. The camera is just allowed to be intimate with the actor, with the performer. And we, as the audience, are given just a spreadsheet of things that we might have to think about. He's walking around the apartment throughout all these villains, you know, we just gotta think about, is it him? Is it him? What's going on outside? It gives you just enough information to make you paranoid and anxious. Just that sense of anxiety, that sense that there's something wrong. And then, pew, he focuses up, he hits good old Norman Osborn with that web, and bro, the look on Willem Dafoe's face, the fact that that look in his eye alone lets me know that's not Norman Osborn anymore. That's somebody else entirely in there. How does he do it? How does he do it? That monologue he delivered, he's so authentically creepy. Oh my god, it's so good. When he was getting punched in the face and he's just laughing, everybody's talked about that. Everybody's talked about that. But goddamn, I am too, because it was just that good. Before he's Green Goblin, he's just Norman Osborn, right? I felt bad for this dude. I was feeling bad for this guy. He was like this lost old man. He was like sad. He was like, Oscorp doesn't exist. I don't even have my son. When they're in that room together in the Doctor Strange dungeon, and Willem Dafoe is in that box, right? And they all learn that they're about to be sent back to their deaths. They're about to die. When Doctor Strange's like, all right, they're going back home in 3, 2, you can hear Willem Dafoe's character just being like, Peter, I'm like, oh, save that man, you know, let that man go. And I thought he was like my grandpa. I couldn't believe it. And the switch up, oh, I couldn't believe that either. The fact that he can play both sides so well that it can reach into my soul and just change my opinions about everything I've ever learned. Bravo, I gotta say bravo. Willem Dafoe, every actor in this movie, okay, maybe not every actor, but most actors in this movie. God, I didn't even talk about the Doctor Strange fight. Oh man, that was a fun ass fight. I gotta say, I literally leaned to the person next to me who I came with and was like, damn, this fight is so imaginative. And I love, you know what I gotta say? I love seeing this because it feels like since Civil War, we haven't really seen a lot of these, you know, these characters that have very defined characteristics and abilities. We haven't really seen them go up against each other too much. But this is the first time we see it happening in like a solo type adventure. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, making their return, giving them their second chance, letting us know just how they're doing. It's like meeting an old friend again. It's just nice. Same with Andrew Garfield. I loved him as Spider-Man, but I felt like he really deserved better movies, and it's so nice to see him come back and just be like, yeah, I knocked it out of the park, no biggie. Like, these characters aren't just in the film because, oh wow, look at them, they brought them back. This is gonna make the fans go wild. Like, yes, it's nice to have them. But I think ultimately what makes this movie work so well is the fact that despite all the fan service, despite all the, you know, returning things that will make people happy, it is ultimately a story about Tom Holland's Spider-Man. It's about his Peter Parker, and it's about his growth and development. Everything in this movie serves to uphold that. Where's my phone camera? I think one of the reasons why this movie works so well is because of how emotionally resonant it all was. It puts this kid through the blender. Like, I was in the theater feeling so bad for this poor guy. I don't even know how do I even bring this up? Okay, Aunt May dying, Aunt May. When Aunt May dies, that shit was the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you know, Aunt May Peter, they get blown up, right? She's like, I'm good. Don't worry about me. You know, I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. And then you're like, oh, okay. No consequences. That's fine. I'm glad that this kid doesn't have to watch his mom die. Then things start happening, you know? Like, her breath is like getting slower. She's getting a little bit weaker. She stumbles. She falls to the ground and lingers. And I was in the theater watching this and I'm like, wait a second. Am I watching this boy grapple with the reality that he's losing his mom? You can see it in his face, you can see it in her eyes, you can see it in the way that they don't want to address the fact that she might be gone and she could be gone at any second. Marissa Tomei's breathing, just getting shallower and shallower with each passing second, is grueling to watch. It's one of the most memorable scenes in that movie for me because it's horrifically sad. The way it's followed up in a later scene when Peter's friends come to comfort him, oh my lord, this makes me cry. Tom is already like, you know, he's like sad, he's like already sad. He sees his friends, and the first thing he does is he shrinks further into himself. You see the look on his face because it's like, I've been there, right? Like, I've never seen my mom die, right, or anything like that. But like, you know, experiencing loss is already hard, but then when people come to comfort you for that, it's even harder because it's like, how do I even talk to anybody? It's just nice to have that shot of those three hugging each other, embracing their friend who's just gone through something traumatic. And you can faintly hear Zendaya's character just say, I'm sorry. That broke my heart. That actually destroyed me. God. Another amazing scene, I think that was profoundly emotional, was that scene of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man saving MJ. What makes the situation that much more horrifyingly sad is his reaction to it. You can see him, like, you know, he's tearing up. It's clearly he's not doing okay himself. She asks him if he's okay. And again, the shot just lingers on him. He just tearing up. And it's in that moment, again, as an audience member, that it's almost like every emotion that's going through my head is the exact same emotion that's probably going through his head, you know? The scene at the very end, too, right? When Tom Holland's Peter realizes that he needs to make everybody forget who Peter Parker ever was. And he has to say goodbye to his girlfriend and his best friend. Literally the only two people in his life that's left. That's all he has. I mean, I guess he has Happy, but does that count? I mean, dude's trying to get with his aunt. It's kind of weird. Ned and MJ, those are his two ride or dies, and he's gotta learn to live without them. Seeing those three at the end having to make their peace with saying goodbye was heartbreaking for a lot of reasons. One, because again, the performance was phenomenal. You really believe that these people exist, and I can't believe this shit. But it was getting to me. You can really feel the desperation in all of them. You know, when MJ and Peter are kissing each other and stuff, you can tell that these two people want to make this last moment together last as long as they possibly can. They want to drain every single bit of time they have because they know they don't have much time left. Seeing Ned and Peter do their handshake again, oh my lord. And I think it works so well because this is a trilogy, right? We've seen these characters grow and develop together. We've seen them actually have authentic friendships. One thing that really bothered me when I was watching Shang-Chi was when Shang-Chi was talking to Katie, right? And Katie's like, we've been friends for 10 years. It's the same thing Amazing Spider-Man 2 did with Harry Osborn. Wow, Harry, we've been friends for 10 years. Our friendship is genuine and believable. Remember all those crazy wacky times we've had? I sure do. There's none of that in this one, okay? We actually see the crazy wacky times. We actually get to grow with these characters and feel for them, which is why it makes that heartbreak so real. It makes that ripping away of these bonds so damn tragic. And that's what I love about this movie. It's a tragedy. It's tragic. I love tragedy. This shit is what gets me out of my seat. It's what gets me to think about these things for days, for weeks, for months to come. We get to see that last epilogue, that last 15 minutes of the movie. You know, Peter, when she says it doesn't hurt anymore. He moved into that shithole apartment, bro. This poor guy, okay? And I know that because that room he moved into looks exactly like the room that I was living in throughout the hardest months of the pandemic. This is a picture of the room I was living in during 2020. This is a picture of the room Peter moves into. Tell me it's not the same room. Tell me it's not. Because it is. It is. This boy is in for some hell. When I said this movie was painful, I meant in these ways. It is painful. But it's so good. The fact that it can provoke these types of emotions is what separates it from being just a good fan servicey film to a legitimately great film to watch. Like, I care about these dudes. I care about these fictional characters. But it's also a lot of fun. I gotta say, if there's a few things I didn't like about this movie, it'd probably be mostly in the first hour, honestly. Some of the dialogue definitely didn't feel right, you know, specifically with the villains that came back. Like when Flint Marko came back, for example, he was like, hey, Spider-Man, it's me. Was he like that? I feel like Sandman's character was way more reserved. He was way more like, you know, kind of like, I don't want to hurt you. Not like, hey, Peter. You know, I saw a comment on a YouTube video. It was like, he definitely felt the most MCU-ified character, which is kind of unfortunate, I'm not gonna lie. Sandman, you know, he's intriguing, kind of. You know, he has a daughter. Jamie Foxx Electro, I felt like some of his one-liners and quippy dialogue just didn't hit for me. But his intimidating moments did. I really liked that apartment scene when his spider sense is going crazy. Jamie Foxx is like, why are you looking at me like that? And I'm like, why is he looking at you like that? I thought it was the right amount of intimidating, and he had like the proper motivation to kind of, you know, not want to go home. I mean, like, let's be real. Not wanting to die is already enough motivation. But I mean, this dude kind of looks good now. He got this cool new electricity, and this is a world that's electronics are way more advanced. Like when the whole apartment scene goes crazy, the first thing he goes for is that Stark arc reactor, right? He immediately pulls it in, and I'm like, that makes sense because he can feel all the electricity. He's naturally going to be drawn to the most powerful source. It's nice to have that stuff. Like I said earlier, it's really nice to have all the fan service moments. Let's be real, okay? Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield coming back was literally all this movie needed for a lot of people, I think. Including me, let's be real. I mean, it's a Spider-Man movie. I'm really not going to care what I get because I just need a Spider-Man movie because I'm a fan of the character. But the fact that they were able to deliver a lot of fan service, they gave meaningful redemptions to characters that never really felt like they had proper closure. But at the end of the day, they're still able to deliver a very meaningfully, emotionally resonant story, I think. As far as I can tell, that's pretty much every thought I've had. You can call me an MCU show, whatever. You can call me a Spider-Man fan, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I love this movie. It was truly great. It made me happy. I'm gonna go watch it again tonight. But yeah, no, that's the movie. That's just what I had to say. This has been my balcony. I hope you've enjoyed. Again, sorry for no animation for the 5th billionth Monday in a row, I believe. Still working on Thor. And it's probably still gonna take a while. You know, this whole seasonal depression thing has been kind of getting to me. I don't want to get too into it, but like, man, I'm gonna keep working hard on these animations because I know you guys enjoy them. But I hope you guys enjoyed this review as well. If you watched all the way through, I thank you. I gotta say thank you to all my Patreons now. Hopefully they're kind of scrolling across the screen right now. These guys are some of the tightest beings who have ever walked the earth because, I mean, you know, these videos wouldn't look as good as they do right now. Not to say that they look really great, to be honest. I feel like I've been kind of in a weird slump. I'm not gonna get too into it. Okay, I don't want to get all the way too into it. That's probably a video for another time. But you know what? These guys are like the budget for this show, and I appreciate them for that. And I appreciate you guys for watching as well, because without you guys, there'd be no show either. So hopefully I'll see you next Monday. It's probably not gonna be Thor. I'm a real guys. Thor is like not probably gonna be done for like another like maybe 3 weeks at least. It's a hard, these movies in minutes are the hardest videos to make, I gotta say. But I hope they'll be worth it. Anyways, until next time, I'll see you guys then. Peace.